today's video, I want to open up a little bit and be a little vulnerable and talk about something that's not easy to admit. One thing that I struggle with, and I know I'm not alone, is playing the victim in motherhood. When you become a mom or a parent, but let's specifically talk about moms because the role of a mother is a lot different than a father. And if you're a good mom, or at least one that's trying to be a good mom, there's a lot expected out of you. And your life completely changes, and you have to just go along with it. Being a parent, specifically a mother in this case, is an important role that God has put in our lives for those who have been called to that calling because it is the most sacrificial job that you can do. Even when you are sleep deprived, hungry, burnt out, you have to take care of your children. You have to love them even when they're mean to you. And sometimes when we get to a breaking point, when we haven't had a day off, when we haven't had a lunch break, when we haven't been able to do even prioritize our health, we can then start to blame the children. If only the children would listen to me. If only they would let me sleep. If only they would just give me 20 minutes to myself. It's really easy to think of all the reasons why you can't do what you need to do or want to do and start to blame everybody else. But when we really sit here and look back and think, why is this happening? Well, you can think just generally speaking, our kids need us. They have no one else to take care of them. They're defenseless children who need someone to provide for them. But then if you look deeper, you can think about it and you can then be grateful. When you're older, when your kids are grown up, you can look back and think about how hard it was, and you can have more gratitude now that you have that time. But then you can also look at it differently. And so when you do have time to work out, when you do have time to read, when you do have time to do the things that you need to do, tasks, jobs, whatever it be, that you're not procrastinating, that you're grateful you get to do it, and you know that it's hard to get these things done, hard to have this time to yourself. And I think a lot of times when we don't have children, oh man, I look back and I'm like, what did I do with my life before I had kids? But it's just because I have a different perspective now. I'm a different person now, and that's good. I mean, a task that could take me 5 minutes before takes 20 minutes, and now I have to spend 10 more minutes cleaning up because I involved them. But I'm teaching them, I'm showing them life skills, I'm teaching them how to not only do things, but to involve other people, to help each other. I mean, if we don't show our kids that we need their help and instruct them, how are we going to expect them to be productive members of society one day or to want to be parents themselves? If they think that what it takes to be a parent is that you boss your kids around, you don't involve them, and they're just annoying, they're not going to want to be a parent. Without sharing any unnecessary details, I am going to be a little open and honest that I come from a broken home. I remember thinking, I am never going to get married and have kids because what I had seen was a horrible example and I wanted nothing to do with it. Same reason why I stopped being a Christian at a young age. If I saw hypocritical Christians and I thought, if that's the way God is, I want nothing to do with it. When I didn't realize that that's not who God was, and that's not what true biblical marriage is, and that's not what being a mother that God has called us to be is. Now, I have since forgiven those people in my life who have sinned against me and caused trauma from my childhood, but that did shape my perception of life and what it would be like to be a wife or a mother. And so when I did decide that I wanted to become a wife and mother, when I found a partner that I was in love with and wanted to start a life with, I thought, oh, well, this is different than the way I was raised. It's going to be perfect. False. It is hard. No matter how great you set up your life, no matter how much you love your spouse, all your good intentions, you know what they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, I know that God has called me to be a mother. That's why I became one at such a young age. I was in for a rude awakening. I thought it was going to come natural. Yes, without a doubt, the love you have for your children comes naturally, and that mama bear instinct usually kicks in. But when my oldest, who you see here, became, let's say, 18 months old, ooh, it got so hard. This little boy is so hard headed, so strong, so persistent, and we fought and we still fight. And that is something that I have to constantly ask the Lord for forgiveness, for strength, and for guidance because this little boy is a lot like me. And I am a lot like my mother and me and my mom. We can either get along or we can fight. And, we can look at it and be like, why is it like this? This is so hard. But I think that happens for a reason. That's what shapes us. That's what gets us to learn and grow and to show empathy towards one another. It's a lot easier for us to say, this person's mean to me, this person makes it hard for me. And then you think, I'm doing the exact same thing. I am such a hypocrite. So, aside from knowing that when your children do sin against you, and they do things that are mean, we know that it's developmentally normal, that they need us to teach them. They need to understand and to learn what it means to ask for forgiveness and to be a good person. That doesn't come naturally. Sin comes naturally to us. It doesn't make it any easier. And there's a lot of times that we can just want to give up. And I'm going to pull the Jesus card on you and tell you that Jesus never gave up on you. We are the ones who either reject or come to him. And it's the same concept that we don't get to reject our children. Obviously, there are horrible people, horrible parents, or even not even necessarily always horrible, but broken. That's the word I'd like to use. Broken. There are broken people, parents, family members, whoever it is, that cannot give you the love that you deserve or the love that they'd even necessarily want to give you. Sometimes they want to be that parent and they just can't be. And are we just going to sit around and wait for them to be that perfect parent or family member or friend until we decide to be kind back and forgive? Absolutely not. Because if that were the case, you would have no salvation. And I know that's easier said than done. But when you are having a hard time forgiving and looking past their bad behavior and treating them with kindness, remember a time when you were that person. Whether you were a child who treated your parents or a loved one not as respectfully as you should have, or in any other situation in life when you realize that you took someone for granted and they loved you anyways. Would you have wanted them to look at you and say, I'm done, I give up, you don't appreciate me, you don't deserve my love? Of course you wouldn't. Just like you're not going to do that to your child. At least I hope not. But so many of us fall into this trap and we take it out on our kids. We either lash out or we're just not present. And I'm here to tell you, you are not a victim. This is something I have to ask for forgiveness for frequently, which means that I have a lot to work on. If I am continually falling into this sin, I need to really work on this. You see, from my perspective, I'm trying to be such a good mom. I do so much for my family. I cook them good, healthy food. I take care of our home. I stay home with our children. I'm working on all of our health. I'm trying to lose weight. But yet it seems like I'm not appreciated as much as I should be. But are my intentions where they should be if I'm so focused on being appreciated? And I remember having these thoughts when I was a child. I did not appreciate my mom as much as I should. And now I look back and I just wish she would understand how much I appreciate what she did for me then. So let me know, do you struggle with this? Do you play the victim? And what can we do to help with this victim mentality? Let me know down below. If this video was edifying or helped you in any way, please like and please stick around and subscribe for more content on motherhood, cooking, baking, and faith. I'll see you next time.